Hello and welcome to another episode of the Legend of Podcast Trails Through Trails, the podcast where we play through the long-running Trails series chapter by chapter, game by game, or this week, final chapter a bit by final chapter a bit. I'm your host Matt, and I use he/him pronouns.
And I'm your other host Lex, and I use she/her pronouns.
And this week we will be making our way through the first chunk of the final chapter of Trails in the Sky.
The FC of FC.
The FCFC PT1.
Yes.
Up until the point that you are instructed to go to a cathedral. It's very exciting to be here. I'm looking forward to rounding out this story, Lex. Like, I had to stop myself from continuing on because I'm trying to be really clear about my stopping points so that I can theorize and, like, believe what's going to happen next.
Which I appreciate, because it's so fun on my end to hear your thoughts.
I'm so happy that you get to listen to me be wildly wrong over and over again until I get told what the real truth is.
You know, I won't even comment on whether or not you're wrong, because even that would be a spoiler. But it's very fun.
I know. But I have to listen back to all of this when I edit this shit, so I get to listen to myself be wrong with the perspective of time. But this week, it's time to start setting the scenes for the beginning of the end of the beginning.
And, it's a whopper.
It's a whopper. I wasn't sure how big it could be when you said we need to chop it up into 3 pieces, but damn, this was a meaty piece already.
Yeah, it was like, it's already long, and I was like, my gosh, like, it's at least as long as the half chapters we've done before. This is a big one, but it's a big finale, and it's an exciting one, too. Like, it's pretty forward momentum the whole time, even though it's so meaty.
Yeah.
You don't have much side questing or anything, you're just kind of like, going.
Which I do miss a little bit, but there's so much going on that it doesn't really matter. I also appreciate, just to forecast a little bit, there's a lot of story going on, but it's not drawn out in the way that it sometimes has felt in other Trails games that I felt just as the kind of the nature of the narrative shifts back and forth with different people working on it. But it's just like, bam, 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 here's your story. Now go run around and play for a bit. Yeah.
And it opens with a pretty dramatic opening scene.
It sure does. Should we dive on in?
Let's do it. Or actually, no. Let's first catch up because we're friends.
Oh, yeah. We are, right?
We are friends.
Well, how are you, Lex?
I'm good. I'm obsessed with Claire Obscure Expedition 33. It was very hard to do anything else this week, including my job, because I am addicted to that game. How about you? What have you been up to?
It's so good to hear that. I'm so happy that everyone's digging into Claire Obscure so enthusiastically, because it is a great game, and I thought so, and I scored it appropriately, and it's always just nice to have the general consensus match up with my optimistic-ass reviewing style.
I saw it. It's the president of France posted about it.
Really?
Posted on his Instagram story. He posted on Instagram story. It was like, in French, something along the lines of, it's one of the highest reviewed games of all time currently. It's, taking over the world, and it's French. We're so proud of the work you've done at Sandfall Interactive. Congrats. And then Sandfall, the developers of Claire Obscure, just replied with a baguette emoji.
Beautiful. That's lovely. And it is. It's like, it's the highest reviewed game on Metacritic, I think, of 2025, period.
Yeah.
And then I think it's up there just like all-time as well. Or maybe it is all-timer?
It is up there in the all-timers. Now, obviously, it's only recently been released, and like almost all games, average score goes down over time because more opinions go in. And I'm not saying that it's not a game that has flaws in terms of there are some QOL things where I'm like, come on, give me a little mini map. I'm so lost. But it's just the overall experience totally outweighs any of the nitpicks I can have against it.
The no mini map thing, as someone who is digitally geographically challenged, it was a bit of a hey, step up moment.
I'm so lost all the time.
I found if I was focusing, I could not stop mid-map. That was the problem. If I stopped in the middle of a map for my session and had to pick up where I left off, unless I had, oriented myself facing a treasure that I hadn't gotten yet or something so that I had a waymark for which direction I was fucking going.
Yeah.
It did help me kind of internalize the maps a bit more, which has helped with Trails as well, though not specifically in one particular dungeon, which we'll get to later in this episode. Holy shit.
Nightmares.
But no, that's I love that people are loving it so much. For me, I've been bouncing between our beloved Trails in the Sky first chapter, and then to really take a break and kind of clear my mind and do something else with my time, I've been playing The Legend of Heroes Trails to Daybreak 2.
Through Daybreak 2.
Through, I don't know, I'm just playing it. I don't look at the title screen. I'm too busy enjoying the video game.
That's so true.
Yeah, I've burnt through a good chunk of game in the past week, week and a half.
You've done, like, almost more game in the last week and a half than you did in the, like, 2 months preceding it. Like,
oh no, I 100% have.
It's crazy.
I finished 1A when the game first came out, or I was close to finishing 1A. So I wrapped that up, did 1B, did 2A, and now I'm in the tail end of 2B, of the acts of the game. Act 2B. Yeah. So I think there's that, and then there's some form of intermission, and then there's another act, and then there's an intermission, and then there's the end. So I'm kind of like halfway.
I'd say something like that. Maybe. There's Act 3 is really big. Like, Act 3 is bigger than Act 1 and 2 combined. And then there's an epilogue, which also, it's not small. It's not as big, but it's not small. There's the intermission. I don't think there's a second intermission, but I could be mistaken. I don't think so, though. I love Act 3. You're going to have a great time. And the intermission is awesome, too. I have a thing to send you before you start it, so don't just go ahead without telling me. You'll be glad you know the details.
I've been pre-informed that there is a chunk of, is it later Sky's story that will help inform?
Sky 3 will, I mean, all these games inform each other, and so I want to be very vague here, but something in Sky 3 is going to come up again in a big way. Sky the 3rd, sorry. It's going to come up again in a big way in partway through Daybreak 2. It's good to be informed. And since Matt is playing his machete order, rather than wait.
Yeah, my insane ADHD order. But no, it's nice that rather than having to just bull in a china shop, try and bluster my way through the wiki to try and find out this core piece of competent information, or relevant information, I should say, I instead have a hand-delivered custom spoiler that will only give me what I need. And everyone should have that for themselves when they don't have the patience to play an entire RPG series in a row.
That's what I'm here for.
But we should get into Chapter 3, Part 2. No, Final Chapter, Part 1. I'm looking at the wrong notes. Let's not talk about Chapter 3, Part 2 again. We just did that one. Yeah. Let's talk about Final Chapter, Part 1, please. Please talk now so that I can stop. Doodly doodly do.
Let's get into it. Doodly do.
Okay, let's do this thing.
So, this opens pretty dramatically. As I was saying before, we sidetracked to talk about Clair Obscur and Daybreak 2. It opens at night with Chloe running away, it seems, along with Julia Schwartz, First Lieutenant Schwartz, or whatever her name is. I mean, her title is. I always call her Julia in my notes, even though she's like, never called just Julia in the game. I always call her Julia. They're on the run, and we know, as of last chapter, that the Royal Guards are accused of terrorism and under arrest, or being chased, so we can guess this is related to that, but the fact that Chloe's there is interesting.
Yeah, we haven't really know what's going on with Chloe. She faded out of the story, and now she's on some new road that we've never seen before, running for her life? Question mark?
Yeah, or at least her freedom, if not her life. Clearly there's people who just want to catch her, so they're either gonna kill her or they're gonna imprison her, like kidnap her, I don't know.
It's not gonna be good for her.
So Julia wants to create a diversion to let Chloe escape, to run to the Bracer Guild, to where she'll be safe. So she says, go ahead. She calls her my lady, which is interesting. Chloe's like, no, let me fight with you, please. And Julia's like, no, like, this is my role, like, this is... Like, there's clearly, for whatever reason, Julia feels it's her role to protect Chloe. And finally, Chloe agrees, and, Julia asks Sieg to take care of her, to look after her. And then Kay runs off, and a bunch of, the attack Doberman guys, dogs, and black-suited guys show up. And she has a badass line, where she goes, 3 men and 5 dogs? I think you underestimate me.
Hell yeah, that's badass 101. Hell yeah, Julia. Julia. Why do I think it's Julia? It's never been said.
We've never heard it said out loud, no. I just read it as Julia. It could be Julia. I've just been reading it as Julia.
Again, we'll find out in fall 2025. But yeah, as I've been noting them, the SPOPs show up, the special ops, in the bad airship.
Oh, the SPOPs is good. Because, as Chloe's running, she seems to be arriving at the city and is saying, oh yeah, Julia was right, security's lighter here because they're all out in the roads, and then the airship shows up.
Just drops out of the sky, lands on the road, which is a pretty cool move. And then they surround her and say, hey, Chloe Rins, enrolled in the social studies program at Genis Royal Academy, which is a weirdly specific thing for the head of the intelligence division of your country to say to you personally, a high school student, even though high school students are very important and famous.
And prestigious.
And should always receive meetings with the mayors if they ask.
And excited hotel concierges.
Yeah.
But yeah, because this isn't just anyone from the intelligence division, it's Alan fucking Richards.
Alan Richard, Mr. Pulled back tight bun hair himself.
Yeah, that's why he's such an asshole.
It must be. Cool rain falls, the airship drops out of the sky. Lawrence and co catch him. Second Lieutenant Lawrence.
Yep.
And Alan is here to, cause some shit.
Chloe is seemingly taken into custody of some sort. Basically, they're taking her onto the ship with them. Which doesn't seem good.
Dun dun dun.
And then usually we have one, scene at the beginning of chapters that's only showing something happening away from our protagonist. But this time we get two in a row because we go over then to the Erebonian embassy. And we see our beloved Olivier.
Olivier, he's sitting in the window, just reminiscing and talking about the rain, waxing poetic.
A storm is coming to this town or something.
I didn't catch that particular line, but I did catch the following lines when a new character walks into the room.
Yes.
Purely matching his natural form, Olivier does nothing but excessively hit on this person. Just
flirt constantly. But this guy, he's clearly very, very comfortable with Olivier, because he just goes, I've had to follow your stupid ass all over ADS's creation. He's very much playing the straight man to Olivier's shtick, and is, just ribbing him constantly, but also, and, acting annoyed with him, but also clearly they're very close. It seems pretty clear that this is the guy that Olivier was talking to on his not cell phone thing. He commented that he loves riling this man up when he got off the phone back in beginning of chapter 2.
The rapport between them is beautiful. When he walks in, he's like, am I perchance dreaming? Mueller, my boon companion.
Mueller Vander.
You're making me stupider just by being around you.
Yeah.
Just stop opening your mouth and making sounds come out of it.
Yeah, it's so good. So, and Olivier just wants to flirt and is keeps going. It's no, we're just gonna, wax poetic. And Mueller's okay, I'm here to tell you that important information that you asked me to come here and tell you, right? And Olivier goes, Lo, I am hoist with my own petard.
There's petard hoisting happening in the narrative.
Down in the narrative. And then Mueller's, done with Olivier's shticks. Olivier decides to roleplay and change it up. He's like, okay, you want me to do it differently? I'll stop the games. He goes, lay it on me, man!
Yeah, drops down into, the thug squat and everything. He's just, full character change. I can't remember what the name is in Japanese nowadays, but that archetype of the high school thug with the pompadour and everything.
Yes, that's what he's doing. And and that's, I think, the point where he says, you're making me stupider just by being around you. They're very funny. Their back and forth is really, really, really quite funny.
Really nails the dynamic right off the bat. You don't need to know much about this major to know exactly who he is in relation to Olivier. Mm-hmm. But yeah, after all the theater of it all, they get to the point, and he says that the guy he was after was at an Erebonian guild branch until a month ago, a Braces guild branch.
And we learned at the beginning of chapter 2 that the guy they were looking for was Cassius.
That's right. So I don't know why we're being so obfuscated about the information at this stage. Is it just because I should have forgotten? Because I probably would.
Yeah, I think it's in case you've forgotten, and I think it's also maybe in case people are listening, or in case there's, just a security thing they might not say.
Ah, yeah, secret squirrel business.
Or maybe it is, they did say, at least he said to Shara that he came here to meet with Cassius, and that, and then he's not there. So, unless he was lying to Shara, and that's not who he's looking for, that's the person we've been told he's looking for. So, but we learned what Cassius' job that he went, the Empire, and ran off was, that apparently all the guild branches in the Empire have been attacked over the past few months, and Cassius was there to investigate. So that's pretty serious. And I understand why you'd have to rush off when the massive NGO, civilian protection organization, was all attacked in one go.
That's not great. A whole country worth of guild branches messed up is a good reason for your dad to leave. And it's also a dramatic enough point for us to cut to the title card for the final chapter, which is Turmoil in the Royal City.
Yeah, we do get right before that. Olivia is like, well, basically it says that he's going to stay in Liberal anyway. And Muriel's like, are you kidding? Like, you can't meet the guy you're here for. Shit's about to get bad. We can both see it. And Olivia West is poetic about how he can't have the main character roles, but the two who are in that role will do a great job, and he has to settle for a side role, but he's a diva, so he'll do it. And the curtain opens, and like he's, doing his whole thing. It's quite funny, but he's accepted that he's a secondary character, and he's determined to fill that role.
And just unashamedly, yes, I am secondary, but I will be the best secondary you ever damn saw.
And he sure will. So we
will.
get the title card of FCFC.
It's time to cut back to the main characters.
Yes.
Return to Zeiss, and see what's going on with Estelle and Joshua. Back in Zeiss, Chief Murdoch is happy that everyone's safe after all the drama of the previous chapter.
Yeah.
And kind of urges us that we should follow through and make our way to the capital and deliver our message.
Yep. And we're also advised by both him and Killick are like, you should probably get going now because they're going to investigate everything that went. There's going to be an investigation to everything that went down here. It's safe for you to go to Grancel because there's no evidence that you were involved, like breaking into a military fortress. But it would probably be best if you were on your way before an investigation here starts, because bureaucracy is not fast unless you're transferring guild branches as a junior bracer.
Exactly. So yes, it's time to get the fuck out, and to facilitate that, our good mate Killiker has booked us flights and given us a recommendation letter. Yay!
Yes, it's so funny because we hear her. She goes, "Yes, hello, yes for 2 to Grancel, the normal account, thank you," and then Estelle, and then tells them what's going on. Estelle has no idea what that phone. She cannot figure out from hearing half of that phone call what Killiker was doing on the phone, and it's like, Estelle, that was very, very obvious. But Estelle does not clock it. Like, honey.
She must really have to consciously put on her detective hat to start figuring things out, because she will be brilliant, and then it's just like, wait, you gave me all the information? What does that mean?
Or she's just tuned out, just zoned out, was not even trying to listen, was not eavesdropping, was not paying attention, just was in her own world, not even trying to listen.
To be fair, she's had a lot going on in her brain lately. I wouldn't be surprised if she was a little distracted.
This is true. A lot. We also get up to, this is when I got to the top rank of my junior bracer ranking. I hit the top rank and I got a lovely gladiator belt, which is like the greatest accessory ever.
Yes, a recurring great accessory in the series as well.
Yes.
I didn't make it at this point because I did miss those early quests, but a little later on it does happen. So I also am in possession of a gladiator belt at this stage, which is very exciting.
Excellent.
But yeah, before heading off on the airship to run away from the cops, I did do a quick wander around Zeiss just to see what was going on. A couple little notes. The kid who works at the weapon shop, who'd been pushing experimental new weapons to be sold in the store at the reproach of his boss, who was like, we should sell stuff that works. He's kind of chilled out about pushing the experimental stuff and is following the boss's, reliability is best mantra. Because he says, like, it's not what I believe, but it's part of the learning experience of working here. So I'm just going to give it a try and see what I can learn from it, which is much
better than what he said when we first met him, which he was like, do your palms get sweaty with excitement at the thought of carnage and blood, or whatever he said. So that's definitely gross.
He's a bit full on, yeah. So it's nice that he's kind of just like brought it down a few notches now.
A little bit.
I also ran into one of the bracers, Wang, one of the local...
Wong. I thought.
Wang.
Could it be Wang? Wang.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
iOS, you auto-corrected on me. How dare you? He sort of tells us, well done, in a very brusque but respectful way. He's like, you really got it done. Yes. Nice.
Yeah.
Because he'd been pretty anti-Estelle and Joshua before that, so it's nice to get that sort of grudging respect. Then I ran into a bummed-out repairman who was just like sad about all this drama that had been going down with the tech of the area, who said he was going to go to church, so I decided to follow suit.
Yes, always.
Checked in with Father Vixen after he helped us out with Agat's poisoning. He said he's very happy that Agat has recovered. And he's up and going again immediately after recovering and waking up.
Immediately, Not
medically advised, Agat.
Not just up and about, but goes into combat immediately after waking up. Straight into combat.
Psycho. But yeah, the father says that the church is for all, no matter what. He's just happy to have helped. And I was like, yep, that's great. Love to see it.
We love it.
I did try and take the highway out of town just to see if I could explore any further, at which point I got stopped and said, you can't go out there. But you do get a cute little scene, Estelle sort of celebrating that they don't have to walk this time. She's like, I can't believe we don't have to walk. We get to take the airship. It's going to be so relaxing.
She's like, I thought it would be kind of cool to do all the walking, but also I'm really excited about the airship. It's clear that she's like, I like the idea of being able to say that I walked everywhere, but I would really like to just take an airship.
Yeah. And the last thing I spotted was over at the bar, the guy who had the side quest for the new perfect recipe where he invented tomato sandwiches.
Yes.
Says that acerbic tomatoes are officially going on the bar menu because they've been a hit, and they're going to sort of become part of their signature menu. So
it's a little
the
concerning.
acerbic tomato has broken containment.
It really has. It's pretty concerning.
Yeah.
Frankly.
But yeah, that was about all I found running about town before heading off. Did you have anything before we jumped on the airship?
Not really. I tried to go to because I knew that I could go to Erbe to get a book, but I couldn't because Joshua won't let me. So I guess I realized I couldn't do that until later. I talked to the guy who works downstairs, like at the end of Cathedral Tunnel, right before you go in, and he was saying how Faye has been acting different, and maybe something happened with the guy that she had been dating. But then when I talked to Faye, she had nothing about that to say. She was like, yeah, it's, great. Glad you guys, are all safe and the rescue worked out. Like, she's not talking about it, but that guy who seems to have a crush on her is noting that she's acting different. He make it sound like she's acting down or depressed, and I'm wondering if that's just because he has a crush with her, and he's depressed at the thought that she might have gotten back together with her ex. Alas. But we got some follow-up there.
Nice.
Looks like they did indeed talk. But then, no, I went off to the landing port and talked to the people there who were all just kind of saying, the ship will be getting here soon, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, so fill in your paperwork. It's paperwork time again. I do like that he tells them to fill in their name and address, because I sort of looked at that. I was like, well, name they can get, but what's their address? Like, kinda near Relant?
Yeah, well, especially, like, if you send them a letter there, you never know when they're going to see it. It could be next year. They have not been home for a long time.
Their home address hasn't changed, just their work address.
Yes, but they live at their work.
A whole mess. No wonder no one can tell them anything. But yeah, fill out some paperwork and head down to the airship.
And see our best friend Antoine.
And Antoine shows up! Hooray! And I translated what he said.
Yes, I was hoping you had.
Yes, of course. So we get a couple of lines that he hasn't used before. So I feel like by the end of the game, or in the course of the game at least, you'll see every permutation from this translation book, which is exciting because some of them are wild. So as he walks up, he says, Nyago, which is, it's been a while, how have you been?
Oh, that's so polite.
It's very polite and very sort of wordy for an animal.
Mm-hmm.
Estelle sort of asks Antoine how he is, because yesterday must have been rough for you, being trapped in that shipping container and then accosted by the military. And he says, Nyaun, which means, yes, that's right. It's like, yes, correct. I did have a bad day.
It was traumatizing. I did have a rough time. The military did accost me. They all pointed their guns at poor Antoine. It was so wrong.
Poor Antoine. So next, Estelle asks if Antoine has thought about what he did wrong by climbing into that shipping container. And his response is Meown, which is, what did you just say, hairless one? It's like... It's basically just Antoine the cat going, the fuck did you say to me?
He's not impressed.
But then they thank Antoine for his help in sort of letting them get their mission off without any major dramas. And he says, Meown, which is, you are welcome, squishy pink thing.
I love that.
And then he leaves. And he's like said all he needs to say, and then he just leaves. I love Antoine.
I love that we get that, like, unnecessary in terms of, like, no obvious need for, but we need it in our hearts scene with him.
Yeah, I couldn't have moved on with the game without a proper conclusion to Antoine's story, the true hero of Trails in the Sky first chapter.
Yeah, a best party member.
Oh, I hope he's one of the NPCs that recurs. I want to see Antoine again. I want more Antoine time. But he's gone for now, and we're excited to get on the airship, but unfortunately there are complications, because it wouldn't be an RPG plot without complications.
Of course. The airship's going to be a few hours late. Apparently, terrorists staged an ambush, and all ships are grounded for inspection. And Joshua and Estelle both note, like, Joshua doesn't need to tell this to Estelle. They both immediately note, it's a pretext to search airships for the professor and Tita and Agate.
Yeah, they immediately call bullshit.
Yeah, they're like, okay, and the receptionist is like, well, if you'd rather wait at the guild branch, I can call you there when it's time to go. And they have a brief little conference with each other, and they're like, we should just cancel it and walk, because we don't want to be here for a military inspection. Let's just walk.
Yeah.
So they go cancel their tickets, and as they're canceling their tickets, the military the military patrol vessel arrives, and Estelle literally goes, well, gotta go, bye, and runs off the screen. And Joshua stays on screen a moment long to be like, thanks for everything, and then runs after her. Like, they both are running. She's just like, gotta go, bye, military's here. I love that we're, like, trying to hide down from the military. You're, like, 16, you've had your job for a month, and you're already, like, hiding from the military.
Sprinting from an active, like, investigation zone, yeah.
Yeah.
I did also note that while you're talking to the head engineer of the Leibniz...
Yes.
And you sort of hear about the terrorist attack, he says... This stinks like last year's diapers, which is way too evocative. I appreciate the craftsmanship of that line, but I don't like thinking about it. That tells me a lot about his like personal life experience.
I can't get over the idea, why do you still have them? Like, do you not throw out your child's diapers? They're not reusable.
If you just keep them, I don't think that's composting. I think that's just mess.
Gross. That's just no good. I'm very concerned for his child.
Yeah, but we yeet ourselves out of the airport, which is good timing because, somebody arrives on the ship that's just pulling in that military vessel. Mm-hmm. It's none other than Miss Foxface herself, Captain Amalthea.
Hell yeah. Or hell no.
It's at this point that I saw the expression on her face. She has this very, like, tight, like, snatched expression. And I was just like, man, she's way too fierce to have ever been a good guy. Like, you can't have a face like that. Like, did they change? Is there a difference in her profile art, or did I just sort of notice it properly now? Because I feel like she had, like, softer eyes.
I don't know, because again, as we've established, I'm not very good visually, like, at visual details, so I don't think there was a difference, but I also could have just not noticed.
Yeah, it could just be sort of retrospective reframing of the character art, but I'm just like, yeah, you were never good. This was the point that the wonderful walkthrough that tells me how to not miss half this goddamn game told me to run back to Erbe and grab a new chapter of the Carnier books.
Yep, so I ran all the way back. All the way.
Thank God for turbo mode, and thank God fast travel is in our future, because... Oh boy.
Please.
It's like, it wouldn't be too bad running back and forth in an RPG. I love that. I love exploring and grinding. It's just when you're going back and forth on the exact same path so many times, it starts to get a little bit tired.
Yeah.
Because you're not getting the benefit of the battles breaking up the monotony and rewarding you, because you're way too overleveled for these like dumb Airleton Chaldea Tunnel monsters anymore.
For sure.
So they're just a nuisance and you're just kind of dodging them and it's not as fun.
Yeah. It's just annoying.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that long. It's just annoying. And it feels like it takes longer than it does.
Can you imagine playing this on the PSP? My God.
Oh, dear Lord.
Never. So yeah, got the book, and then it was time to hike out to Sanmktheinmmn Gate.
I've just been saying time, but I know the TH sound, like you said that, and I'm like, that makes sense. But I've just been calling it Sanktime. I don't know, maybe that's German, maybe that's not German, but that's what my brain's been doing.
I also feel like every time I've written it down, I've spelt it a different way, so I'm truly lost as to what the true name is.
Fair. Very fair.
But yeah, it's time to go to that gate and make our trip to Grancel.
As we get there, Joshua notes that the Annenberg Wall, which is part of Sanktime Gate and Garoon Gate, are part of the Annenberg Wall, which surrounds the capital. And he notes that it was built almost 1,000 years ago. And I have questions about this.
Yeah.
I'm really, really interested in this, because that puts it shortly after the Great Collapse. And as we'll learn, we have learned already that there was great technology until recently. There was great technology until the Great Collapse, and then only recently did they start rediscovering some of that technology they had before that. They point out that this wall is super, super strong and solid. It was able to repel even the Empire, which had orbital technology. And I'm just like, how did that work? They were supposed to be at, like, the worst period, technologically speaking, in Zemuria's history at the point when this wall was built, and yet it was big enough, or strong enough to repel the Empire with orbital technology. And then, as we'll see a bit later in the chapter, we'll learn a bit more about the first 500 years or so after the Great Collapse. I'm just super curious about what's going on there. This is like such like Zemurian history nerd shit for me. Like 90% of people won't care, but my mind spins every time I learn something about like the technological history of Zemuria. I'm way too obsessive. But yes, about 1,000 years old.
The lowest technological point and the most secure wall ever built in the country. It's a weird disparity, but it's great. It keeps shit out. It's 1,000 years old.
And Estelle wants to have a picnic, a romantic picnic date on top of it.
She was thinking that it'd be nice for us to just have a nice, quiet lunch together, just the two of us, and talk about whatever.
And Joshua goes, isn't that what we always do anyway? Which is like the worst response she could get. It's his turn to be oblivious, clearly. She's so upset by this, but she can't explain why she's upset, so she just kind of like is in a huff.
She just can't find her feet these days. Everything's constantly shifting underneath her. But yeah, they head into the gate, and the gate guard, who's getting them to fill out the paperwork, again, just signing their names so they can go to the next chunk of the country, asks if they're on a date, and Estelle, again, freaks out. A date?
And Joshua is like, oh no, we're brother and sister. And then she's really upset about that, too.
Yeah, he's just like, 4 words, we're brother and sister. And then she's just like staring death into the back of his head.
Yeah. We also hear they ask if we're here for the martial arts tournament, which is apparently coming up and a really big deal. Joshua and Estelle don't really seem to know what that is, or I get they're kind of off about it, but apparently it's an annual thing and it's about to happen. And most a lot of tourism into Grancel is, if it's not for the Queen's birthday, it's for that. Everything's going along smoothly until the guy notices the bracer pins on our jackets. And we get detained at the border, which there were a number of times during this chapter where I had the thought, this is really weird timing to be playing this chapter of this game, and this was the first of them. It is very interesting watching playing the chapter where you really see a military coup happening at the same time as what's going on in the United States is going on in the United States. It's pretty chilling. There's a realism to this chapter that I appreciate. It's upsetting, but I also kind of appreciate how well they executed it more in context, but that doesn't make me happy because it's like shit.
And truly, with how quickly things are changing just day to day, I hope by the time this episode airs for the podcast that it hasn't become an even more relevant allegory. So let's hope that it's just kind of...
God.
Hey, how you doing out there, future world? Anyways, back to this cool video game that we're playing.
Yeah, the chief warrant officer has come and basically said we need to be detained because apparently royal guardsmen are in disguise as bracers for their terrorist plots, which is... There's so many layers of, like, because they want to stop the royal guards and because they want to catch Agate, that they're just, like, pitting everyone in it, but we're just these 2 16-year-old kids and we're getting detained at the border until they can prove our identity. Lo and behold, someone does come to the rescue, though.
Yes.
It's Professor Erbe.
Suddenly Erbe.
We have a job, we say, in the capital. And then when they ask us to explain it, Estelle's just like, oh, the professor, how do I explain? And Josh was like, sorry, but it's confidential, we can't tell you. And he goes, that's suspicious. But then Professor Erbe comes and says that it's for them, which then makes Estelle's statement make perfect sense, like in... she wasn't referring to him, but it works now in a weird way.
Not to mention it's entirely reasonable to preserve the privacy of your bracer clients. I'm pretty sure that's in the rules.
Oh, for sure.
And they're just like,
So this is actually really relevant to me and was chilling to me because I'm a lawyer and there were conversations around my law office now that basically Canadians are going to the US are under warning that they will likely check your phone. Go take your phone and check your social media for comments you made. Lawyers can't hand that over because you have privileged client information in your phone if you have your email on your phone and everything. And so there were conversations at my law firm, like one of the lawyers I work with has purchased a burner phone, and if he has to go down to the US, he's going to bring a burner phone and leave his real phone at home because he can't give solicitor client privilege. And technically, like, they're supposed to not be allowed to keep looking at your phone if you tell them it's solicitor client privilege, but you can't trust that. So this was like another level of like, oh wow, this is realistic. Oh wow, this is realistic.
So yeah, Trails in the Sky, second chapter, Estelle and Joshua get burner bracer notebooks.
Yeah, that's yikes.
But yes, Erbe comes to the rescue and helps to spin a tale with Joshua. Cleverly ties in, yes, the fact that Estelle had mentioned our professor. So yay, we evade border patrol.
Yes, we do. Erbe also mentions here when he introduces himself to the border guards that he's from Northumbria State. In the prologue, he said, I'm from the north, but don't worry, not the Empire. So now we have an answer as to where he's from. He's from somewhere called Northumbria State, which I don't think there's another Ambria, like not a South Ambria or anything, but then again, there's an empire, so it's possible there used to be, and then it got annexed or something. I don't know. He's from Northumbria State, which is north of Liberl. So now we have that. Now that loop is closed. That loop of not knowing.
That loop about this motherfucker who's never once opened his eyes in a single cutscene ever.
Yes.
Suspicious.
Except
he briefly opens them in this conversation. But yes, thank you, Professor Erbe. We're able to move on with our journey.
We're allowed to proceed.
And he just asks that we keep him company.
Yeah, we go have lunch with him. And it's pretty funny because all I could think was, why wouldn't you get out of the border gate as quickly as you can now that you've been allowed through? Like, don't let them change their minds. But no, they go to the restaurant. And they talk about how Alba never has any money. And Estelle just goes, wow, you sure are poor.
Tactical queen, Estelle Bright.
And Alba goes, we scholars of the humanities all have financial ... issues.
Mm-hmm.
And in all worlds, that appears to be true. But we're going to escort him to Grancel, which is nice.
It's interesting in this little conversation, it starts to become really clear as well that Joshua and Estelle are more and more out of sync with each other. They're just kind of like misreading each other, and like Estelle's grumbling about how easy it is for Joshua to lie, to like sell their story and stuff. It seems like even Alba picks up on it. He's like, what's the vibe here, guys? You were really like peas in a pod last time, and now something's weird. What's going on? But yes, it's time to travel on. So we head down the road en route for Grancel, only to be immediately stopped again because it's some guards.
Yep. More army.
More army. They want to quiz us on where we're going and what we're doing and what's our home address. And we're like, oh, we're travelers. And like, that's suspicious. It was like, it's the Queen's birthday celebration. The town is full of travelers. That's not suspicious.
And we're escorting this here professor dude.
Yeah,
it's all good.
We've got an academic.
Yeah. Of course, academics are also totally beloved by dictatorial regimes.
We love people who are smart.
You know.
But we're told to avoid the royal villa because it is now a military installation.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, like, it's the residence of the royal family. It's also usually open to visitors, especially from the city, who come and hang out on the grounds. And now it has been commandeered as the base of the anti-terrorist operations by the military, which is extremely alarming. This is where the Queen and her family live. And as we'll hear later, this is not the first time we'll hear about the army having more access to the Queen than maybe they should.
Yeah.
Or more control, or more speaking for, whatever. It's disturbing. So we're like, oh, we'll make sure to stay away from there. Thanks for the warning. We're like Joshua's like very being polite. Estelle's like, who do you think you are? Like, she wants to be
she's ready
mean.
To
because she's like, the audacity of this bitch. And Joshua is the one who's like, no, let's not do that.
Yeah.
Let's play nice with the soldiers.
Yeah, so I said, yes, thank you for letting us know. We'll make sure to avoid it. Thank you for the warning. And then I immediately ran in the direction of Erbe Royal Villa. Immediately.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I ran over there. You go through a bit of the Royal Path. What's it called? The Royal Road?
Royal Avenue. That's what we're on now. But the Royal Avenue loops around.
Yep.
I got more commentary on that quite soon from a guard.
But yeah, I immediately ran up to the villa, rattled the front gate. It was locked, obviously, so I couldn't go in. And then I just continued on the loop around the Royal Avenue.
Yep.
Where, interestingly, there's a series of monuments. You get a couple that are named by colour and one by name. You find a cerulean and a vermilion monument, so red and blue.
Mm-hmm.
Then you find one that's specifically called the Amberl Monument, like Amberl Tower.
Yeah.
And then there's a virescent one. Love the use of a thesaurus here to say green but fancy.
Yes.
Which is a real mirror to the towers that have been alternately helping us achieve our goals and also just like getting us fucking lost.
I think those are the names that are used for, like, I think Amberl is, like, it's the name of a gemstone here. Even though they refer to amber itself as well, they also call Amberl, I think, like, as ornaments are sometimes referred to, like, when they're made of, like, amberl ore. It's a type of ore. Yeah, I think they're just meant to match the towers, but they don't match the names fully, just somewhat. But it's interesting they're there. And if you look at it, like, you can inspect it, but it just says that it's an old monument. It won't give you any, like, there's nothing written on it that you can read or anything like that.
So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Those seem important. I also noticed that there was a path further east that was blocked off. I didn't really get any information as to why.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I didn't actually think to check the map to see where it was leading, but...
it doesn't lead anywhere. It cuts off.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
So I also ran into a guard who mentioned that he saw a strange girl with glasses on the scenic loop around. And I was like, oh, well, I know who that is.
He says people get lost there a lot, and he saw a strange girl with glasses, and he's like, Dorothy's lost on it. So I assume that she's just spent the whole day walking in circles on this loop.
Probably. It seems like her.
I also got another chapter of Cornelia from another guard here, because we've reached Rune Gate, which is the gate that goes to Roland. So it's actually really funny. I went inside, and I was talking to, like, the same guy who, like, the same people in the restaurant-y area there that I saw in the prologue. It was kind of fun to be at the same area as the prologue, because you can access the insides of the gates in full, whichever side of the gate you're locked to. You just can't go to the other side. So it's, like, the one area where you can, like, go even after you've gotten into a different region. It's fun.
Which, security-wise, does seem like a bad idea, I will say. If people from both sides of the gate are able to meet in the middle and do a handoff, that's probably not a good thing.
That seems pretty dumb. Yeah, not great. I ran around. It's really big, like the tops of the walls. You have to run a long way to find the guy with the book. And then I also noticed a pole on the top. Now, I guess it's probably a flagpole, but all I could think of was that it was for pole dancing. And I was like, this must be their national defense strategy. If the Erebonians attack again, someone's going to go pole dancing up there and distract them, and they'll have peace.
Dance real sexy to peace, yeah.
So I've decided that, because it's right on the top, it's on the top of this massive wall, there's a perfect view, it's a really big thing, like, anyone from everywhere could be able to see you. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah, the commanding officers don't even know that's installed. That's just something that one of the, like, wall guards has installed to keep himself busy while he's waiting out there at night.
Exactly. So I support that one random guard.
Yeah.
Slay
indeed.
Anyway, at this point, I did finally go to Grancel.
Ready?
Yes, it was time to finally head into Grancel, and oh my goodness, it's huge. It's such a big town.
It is huge. It's 4 blocks.
4 blocks, 4 individual sort of map areas for the major city, with a lot going on in every single one.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of city. When we get there, Erbe does mention that it's smaller than some of the other capital cities, like the Imperial city in Erebonia and the Republic capital in Calvard, but that it's still, like, it's dense, it's like a girthy city, it's powerful.
And it's got class and elegance.
It's got class and elegance above all.
But he parts ways with us now. He says he's gonna go. He doesn't need us to help him find somewhere to stay, because he's gonna go bother the history museum now. And he tells us to go visit him, and I will do that pretty shortly, actually. Nice. I've got notes. But first, I talked to some people, and who was there but the alleyway couple from the prologue?
Yes, I ran into them. That was so exciting. Armand and Ellie.
Ellie and Armand. They're very happy.
Oh, okay, so their line must have changed by the time I saw them, because they weren't happy when I saw them.
Oh, well, I mean, throughout the chapter, I forget what they said the first time. They were a bit stressed, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, when I ran into them, they were mad that they couldn't enter the castle to get eyes on the Queen, or to see the royal castle.
Oh, yeah. They are mad about that. That's right. I talked to them a bunch through the chapter, and I didn't write down what they said, so they're happy together, I guess is what I meant. Their relationship seems to be good.
But yeah, it's nice to see them. They made it all the way to the camp.
They've recovered from the alleyway.
Yeah, so I made a beeline for the Bracer Guild to sort of check in. And
I did not.
Do you want to run around first and then?
Everything else. Ooh. I'd like to. Because they're mostly comments. I mostly just had some comments on the scale of Grancel. On top of the whole 4 block thing, I was just going into shops and places. I went into the normal Orbital shop, and it's a 3-story building, which the only building we've seen that big or bigger was Zeiss Factory, which is like where everything is. So the fact that just normal buildings hit 3 stories really makes you feel like this is a bigger city than the rest, and I thought that was a really cool little touch.
Yeah.
We can check in if you want now, but I went everywhere else in town first. I don't know if the dialogue's going to be any different.
Let's run around first.
All right. So I went to the Fisherman Guild.
Yes, I was excited to check this out.
It's run by a guy named Fisher.
Wild.
Which is amazing. And he is extremely passionate about fishing. And he gives us a great little spiel where he tells us what they're doing at the guild, and he says, "There be great fish in the waters giant fish in the waters around these parts. We call them guardians, and they wriggle and they dive all through the waters of the world. It is our job, nay, our sacred duty, to find these elusive piscine giants and best them in a battle of lures, reels, and wits. LRW for short."
Sure.
I thought that was LRW for short was excellent.
it's always good to have a nice abbreviation of your core tenant.
Yeah, and Estelle's like, fishing's all right for me, and the guy's trying to get Estelle to join, and she's like, I'm busy now, maybe another time. She's put off by how strong he comes on, which is funny from Estelle in particular.
I really enjoy that too, because he gives this whole speech, and she's like, for me, fishing's all right, I guess. It's like, it really does sound fun, but we've kind of got things to do right now, just things, and then just exits.
Yeah, stuff.
Sorry.
I went upstairs, found a guy named Percy, who tells us that everyone else in the guild would kill for Fisher's last name. Yes. Which is just a great line.
I love that they acknowledged it.
We also find out that Fisher's nickname is the Fishing Baron, so I guess that's a cool title alert.
Cool title alert.
Question mark.
And Lloyd is there too. Lloyd, who's not Lloyd from Crossbell, the other Lloyd.
Yes, Lloyd from Bose, who helped us when we were fishing at Lake Valaria.
So long ago.
So long ago. Well, yeah, I did some running around as well, so we'll just sort of fold it all in together.
Yes.
We'll see if we do have any differences. That might be interesting. I went to the cafe in the West Block and picked up a new recipe for chef's curry.
It's LeBlanc. It's LeBlanc from Persona 5, Coffee and Curry. It's their specialty.
Can't wait for that cameo to be folded in the new version.
Yeah.
Just a nice Falcom Atlas crossover.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, weirdly, when you take the recipe to sort of, eat the meal and then internalize it into your brain, you get a different message to normal, which I noticed.
In this chapter, I think there's like 2 meals, like restaurant meals you get, and they both have special messages.
Oh, that's fun. But yeah, it says, amazingly, through some sort of quote-unquote flavor osmosis, you've managed to piece out the recipe for chef's curry simply by tasting it. It's just nice that they're treating it with such wonder when it's just been kind of like, yeah, you eat a cookie and then you know how to make cookies. What are you talking about?
Yes. We had the same thing for me when I went into, what's it called, the Sunnybell, I think, bar, where I got told I had the bouillabaisse, and I got somehow the act of eating it fired off long hidden neurons in the brain, teaching you the recipe for bouillabaisse. Which is, I love that only now in the last chapter are they explaining your mouth memorization technique.
That's why, man, I could have been having these fun custom messages the whole game through, guys. Come on, remake. Yes. Make my dreams come true.
That would be really fun, especially now that they don't have the, insane shitload of work that the localizers had for this.
Oh, well, that's fun. I didn't know about the other one. But, I did that. I did notice that also there was a shop front for sale in that block of the city, which had a sign saying it's perfect for a restaurant. Which just makes me wonder.
Easy conversion, yeah.
I wonder if there's some scene setting for a future state change of the world, either in this game or in sequels.
I wonder.
Because
I wonder.
First chapter and second chapter were originally concepted as a singular game. It was just too big.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it seems like there is going to be some of that.
Can you imagine these as one game?
Oh my god, this first season of the podcast would never end. We would quit. Before we got to the end. It's like, if it's going to take us this long to do one game, how can we get through this series of, I guess, 12 games at that point? Yeah, I did stop in a couple of the houses, and I ran into Siguro and Edel, who are 2 travelers that I've been meeting around the world as well. They were the ones who were traveling around because the husband really wanted to check out all the religious sites, the churches and stuff, and the wife just wanted to go shopping.
Yeah, his pilgrimage. Exactly. And they both got exactly what they wanted.
They're really happy. Siguro also mentions, is like, holy shit, there's been a new nun dropped at the local cathedral since we left.
Yeah, I gotta go get to know her.
Which is a little intense. But it's like, hey,
it is.
You need to maintain that mental Wikipedia.
Brand new nun dropped.
I also stopped in at LaBelle News, where there was a great line from Soraya, the receptionist. She says, welcome to the LaBelle News. Despite our name, we're totally nonpartisan, I swear. Wink.
Wink. Yeah, that was so good. There was a few good lines in this building, because I went upstairs and talked to the editor, who's like Niall's boss, and he told me, he goes, he recognizes us. He's like, oh, he must be Joshua and Estelle, the junior bracers. I've heard lots about you from Niall. Do you want to see Niall? And Estelle goes, not particularly.
Yeah, I love that. She's just like,
and then he goes, good, because he's not here, and he won't be here for a while.
I love how honest she's just like, we know Niall. I don't want to spend time with him. No.
Yeah.
I also, up on the top floor of the news building, there's a woman named Noticia, who's just running off a mental checklist that I also thought was really funny. She goes, camera, check.
Yes.
Press pass, check. And double check. Checkbook, yes.
I love that. That was so cute.
It's such a stupid little line, but I love it so much.
It's great.
Yeah, it's very empty in the news building. No one's really working, and the receptionist, Soraya.
Or they're out on the field.
Yeah, but Soraya mentions that, like, there's not as much going on, and it's so low-key that she's now also in charge of the news floor, on top of being the receptionist, because there's just nothing going on. Which is concerning. I wonder if that's going...
Yeah, because there's a lot going on.
Mm.
I also went to the Cathedral, because I need to see the new nun that just dropped too, and because I always go to Drag Branch, you know me.
Perfect.
Archbishop Courant is there, so we get an archbishop here, as well as there's also a priest whose name I forgot to write down, but a bishop or a priest or father, I can't remember. And they also mentioned the new nun is out picking herbs for medicines or something. But the archbishop tells me that the queen is supposed to be ill. And I actually picked up a newspaper which also points out that the queen is ill. But he says that even though we have, like, we're the healing type people, we make medicines, we can't get any info, any specifics on her illness.
Yes. In
terms of how to treat her. And that even the queen's head maid is not allowed to see her. It's just a man in black won't let her into the room.
Yes, turned away by a man in black armor.
Which, when the head maid can't get to see the queen, that something's up. That's
concerning, yeah. Now, I can't remember if it was at the church or at the news office, but someone did mention that a witness saw people in handcuffs being led from the docks into the city.
Oh, yeah. I think there was someone right outside the church.
Yes. Mentioned, like someone spotted them like leading prisoners of some sort into the city, which is interesting.
Very alarming. And the port's closed down too.
Oh yes, the port's on lockdown because of increased security, it says, when you check the gate as well. So who knows what that's going to be. Wandering around the city, I did go to the department store.
As did I.
I was very excited. It was so big, but it's only one floor, which is kind of...
Yeah, weird. There's bigger normal houses in this place, in the city. No, there's not much. I was more interested in what was outside the department store, because there was some NPCs called Anton and Ricky, who are, you're gonna see more of them, let's just say.
Yes.
They'll be showing up a lot from here on out, but Anton has no job and wants a girlfriend and complains a lot, and Ricky is just a lot more down to earth and kind of entertained by his buddy, but also is like, you're ridiculous. That's kind of their vibe. And it's a time there. We also found a lady. I saw a lady who was saying that there's a little stand in this area that has the greatest ice cream ever. So I went looking for it and found an ice cream stand that sells special ice cream that restores like 30 CP.
Yes.
So I like that, and I bought some of that. And then I found the greatest thing ever. I found the History Museum. And the fact to know about me is any game where there's a history museum, or any kind of museum really, is my favorite. I like... In Pokemon games, when there's a museum, I'm all over it. I once, in Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, I got my you can have a Pokemon follow along with you. I got Mewtwo out and brought Mewtwo to the museum because I thought Mewtwo would enjoy the intellectual stimulation. Like, this is a thing I like to do. So I took notes on the museum. So Matt, this is a history lesson time. I don't know if you went to the museum or not, but you're going to history class regardless.
I did go, but I probably didn't study as hard as you did. So let's go to Alexa's history lesson.
Hey, pay attention.
So when we get there, Alba doesn't acknowledge us, so we're really just there as tourists. He's talking to the director of the museum. So instead, I talk to the receptionist, who tells us that a new exhibit on liberal and modernism is open, but I can't find that thing. I find all the other time periods, just not the modern time period, which is strange. Maybe it's about liberal leading up to modernism or something, because it's not there. But I do find some cool stuff. So I find... in the lobby area, there's a bit of a tetracyclic tower. We learned that was also built shortly after the Great Collapse.
Yes.
We also learned specifically that a staff-wielding priest and a winged god are depicted on the walls, and that scholars continue to examine the design for any connection with Teoh, which I thought was a really interesting little tidbit. Now, one thing that I know is that, and we'll learn this in later games, but I don't think it counts as a spoiler, that people in different areas of the world have different terms or imagery associated with Teoh, but they're still considered the same god. And in some parts of the East, she's called the winged goddess. So it makes sense, a winged god, and it does make sense because, here in Western Zemuria, she's the goddess of the sky, so winged goddess, there's a logic there. But then why would they say, how could there be a connection with, I don't know how this is connected to Aetios, if it's that obvious, so I wonder why. The staff-wielding priest is interesting, too. There's also, I walk into the next area, which is, shortly after the Great Collapse, and there's a stone pillar that resembles all the towers, and it was found at the bottom of Lake Valeria, and apparently there's seems like there's a set of ancient ruins at the bottom of the Lake Valeria that a fisherman's net caught and dragged up. I think I learned that last bit when I came into the museum a second time to see who was around, and a researcher was in that room and told me that, but I'm looping it into the history lesson now. Now, we learned from a plaque on the wall that the Dark Ages were from the collapse, so year 1, as is dated now, to year 500, and the Septine Church first appeared in the year 500. Which is really interesting that they started the Septine calendar and backdated it by 500 years, so that it started 500 years before. Which, first of all, if they didn't keep a calendar, how do they know it had been 500 years since the Great Collapse? Exactly. How do we know that's an accurate frame of time? Is that just an estimate?
Sure.
These are my thinky thoughts. We know that the Septine calendar, or Septine era, is what starts in year 500 and goes until about the year 1100. We know the current likeness of Aetios was created around the year 900. So the current, which I found really interesting, that there are the imagery and understanding of Aetios in the Septine Church was not the same back then as it is now, and this is actually only about 200 years old, the current incarnation we have. Sorry, I should have mentioned, I moved now to the top floor. This is where I found the Septine era stuff. We also get confirmation that the printing press exists, which we commented back in, chapter 1. We were like, I think they must have a printing press. And we get confirmation that they do now, but they didn't always, because old Bibles, or not Bibles, but scripture books from hundreds of years ago were written by hand, which seems rough. And that's kind of the highlights. There's, a bit about airships, but that was only, one plaque that was now there was an orbital revolution, now they can make airships. There was a research room that's a back room where clearly only people who work there are supposed to go, and one of them is, just saying that they work a lot with archaeologists and professors like Professor Erbe. But those were the things that I thought were most interesting to get some idea of the timeline of the Dark Ages and the Septine era, or the Middle Ages. And also, the wall, the Annenberg Wall, the tetracyclic towers, and some shit on the bottom of Lake Valeria were all built around the same time, which was a few hundred years after the Great Collapse. So at what should have been the most primitive period of technology, more or less.
Some of the most active construction. These long-standing structures that are still around to this day. Yeah, it's really interesting. I did enjoy running around the museum. I read all the plaques, I looked at all the stuff, and I did find it interesting that they were we formalized the standardized appearance of Aetios. 900.
300 years ago,
We're looking back at this much, much older thing and trying to, make a connection to our interpretation of Aetios now.
It's really interesting.
Reverse engineer that, this is the thing. This is the thing that exists, and we have to prove that it's related to the thing that we invented, not figure out what it is. Yeah,
it's really interesting.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed running around the museum. It's nice to get a bit of backstory. And hopefully Alba will be able to bring something new to the exhibit so that we can learn more.
Yeah, so that brings an end to history lesson. I'm sure that there will be others.
I bet.
The last thing I did running Grancel was I checked out the landing port, and I saw that Rutherford from Zeiss had made it, so he was supposed to be on the same airship as us.
Oh, okay.
And then the airship that got delayed, he was hanging out at the landing port saying that, and then he's just arrived when we get there, so it seems that it took the same amount of time for us to walk as it did for that airship to eventually get to Grancel, which is just a nice little thing to note. And then I went to the Guild. Did you do anything else running around?
No, I think that was about it. No, that was it. I think we hit all the same points, and then checked in at the Guild. New receptionist appears, Elnan, who is a beautiful, beautiful man.
And then we see my beloved, my darling, the one and only Karna.
And she's got some friends with her.
She does.
Some other faces. We have Grant, who we'd run into previously.
Yeah, way back in chapter 1.
Way back. Annalise.
Yes, she was the girl who, back in Ravenue Village, when I said that when we went there early to Ravenue Village in chapter 1, and the restaurant wasn't open yet, and I said I ran into someone familiar who seemed to know Sheriff from work, that was Annalise. So she had a little early appearance there, if you were looking. But that's Annalise with the pretty bow on her head.
And lastly, we had green-haired Kurt.
Yes.
Have we seen Kurt before, or is this his first?
I can't remember, because I've seen Kurt before, but that's because I've played the games before. So I can't, I don't know if we've seen him before in the, I don't think we've seen him before in FC. I don't think so, though.
But Kurt was also there.
And they're bound for this martial arts tournament.
Yeah, they're participating. And they're still very jealous, but decided that she gets to see her big crush, Kana, fight.
They head off to the tournament, so Elon explains what's going on, that they're competing, and we are now here. We got to figure out how we're going to see the queen, and that's going to be hard, because while in past times, Elon says, you could just get a letter from the guild that would serve to get you an audience with the queen, now it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
It's going to be real hard, and the letter will just get crumpled up. That's a multiple choice question that you get bracer points for getting the right answer, and my Estelle correctly answered that if we wrote a letter saying we got to see the queen, the army would just crumple it up.
So the plan instead is to just kind of like make a blind run at the gate, pretending to be tourists, and just like see what the reception is there, see what information they can glean.
And I checked the guild board here, and I think of the very first time the bulletin board just says no requests.
Yeah,
I don't think that's ever happened in the game before. It's actually kind of disturbing.
Yeah.
I would kind of think that that's like an environmental storytelling thing, that things are weird.
Yeah, and you actually do get commentary from Elnan about it. I'm not sure if it's in this story beat or a little bit later, but he does mention that there's no requests coming in because there's so much military presence in the city. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of either suppressing the need for the tasks, or the army's out there just kind of like handling it.
Or is telling people not to go to the guild if they're headed to the guild. We don't know that. Could be more malicious, but...
Could be.
Or it could be that sometimes people are... I mean, they're not, like, sketchy requests, but they're not totally... they have, like, you know, a personal interest in whatever. It's something like, you know, I lost my orbital gun or whatever that scientist had one time. Yeah. That people might be worried that the army would get mad about. Because I can understand why something like losing an orbital gun on a random field that was experimental prototype... that might not be so kosher. So it could be that some of the requests people are feeling deterred from making because there's just so much army presence, and they are not committing crimes or anything, but, you know, doesn't reflect that well on them.
Yeah. But yeah, we make a run at the castle. We pretend to be just like visiting travelers who want to like see the queen, and as expected, we get turned away. Not very surprising. We get an
interesting note where the two guards are having a bit of a chat about the fact that the royal guards apparently are terrorists, and neither of them believe that Julia was. They both are like, oh, yeah, she left in shame because her royal guardsmen turned out to be traitors. And Joshua and Estelle note that they seem to have a crush on Julia, but also it's just interesting that even though people have all been told the same line about the royal guards being, like, people are rationalizing it in different ways, even within the army. They are hearing this and, you know, not necessarily believing that they don't believe Julia is a traitor. They haven't followed that line of logic to, we're being lied to, but they just don't believe that.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's just nice to get a sort of inside scoop from... Even the guards don't have a full picture of what's going on and are just kind of having to interpret what they do know. So nothing's really clear at the moment.
We do learn, though, that someone is acting as a proxy on paper for the queen since she can't attend to matters of state. Mm-hmm. And it's the one and only Duke Dunan, that motherfucker.
Damn. The gate opens and there he is.
Yep, he's mad because doing his job, pretending to run the country, made him late for the martial arts. Just kidding, he wasn't doing his job, he slept in. Yeah. And his butler didn't wake him up. So he's late for the tournament, so he rushes off to the tournament, and we're just kind of like, oh dear God, it's him again. God, and the royal guards are like, yeah, but it's okay, he has a really competent assistant, Alan Richard. So that's great.
Good.
They also mentioned by the guards that they're surprised Duke Dunan's the one being the queen's proxy. They would have thought the princess would do it. But then, like, oh, wait, we shouldn't have said that. So, and I did notice the newspaper mentioned that, like how the queen is not going to be seen in public because she's sick, the princess is tending to her grandmother and not going to be seen in public either. So, there's a lot of mentions of the princess. A lot. There's a number of mentions of the princess this chapter. And she's also not being seen known about, but we don't really get that much more. There's a lot of speculation, but no clear answers.
It's all very suspicious.
Also, of course, interesting that Duke Junon has been saying that he's the heir to the throne forever, but the princess is apparently the direct descendant of the queen.
Mm-hmm.
So, it does bring a question of what that's about, but we can get into that a little more later on.
Yes, it's time for us to follow the Duke and also head to the arena to check out what's going on there. So we head on over to the East Block and grab some tickets just in time to see Karna's team.
Yeah, now we hear that apparently this was just supposed to be like a 1v1 sort of tournament, but at the last minute it was changed to be teams, which is convenient for maybe us later on, but strange. Also, Josh was like, judging by the excitement, this must be popular. And I'm like, isn't this an annual event that happens in the region neighboring yours every year, and you two are like martial arts freak or like combat freaks, the kind of people who would be into this? Like, surely this isn't the first you've heard of it. Estelle seems to know what this is and be excited about it, but it's also unclear if Estelle has known about this her whole life or if Estelle heard about it once and became the biggest fan in the history of ever.
It's really unclear. It seems to be a national holiday that they're surprised to learn about, which is a little odd.
Pretty much. It is.
But yeah, we get to watch the 7th round of the preliminaries, which is Karna's team.
I loved that before they start combat, you can see them and their opponents like make formations on the field the way that you do in the battle formation menu. You can see their different formations. I thought that was so cute.
And then I absolutely love that the battles play out exactly like your battles do, just without the menu overlay. So they're moving, they're attacking the same ways, they're sort of, casting crafts that hit in an area effect and all this kind of stuff. So it's just...
They're shouting at the enemies with little barks.
They're shouting their little lines and stuff, they're casting spells. It's so cool to just see the combats play out exactly as they do, to see that this isn't just an artifice of the game. This is how combat works in this world.
Yeah.
It's really nice kind of merging of the story and the mechanic, which I really appreciated. Also the very Sports Center style title cards that open up each match. It's like,
it's
round
so good.
1, fight. It's great.
Yeah.
Perfectly executed.
Yes. And then we get to the 8th round. Karna's team wins.
Hooray!
They're against some border patrol, I think. And then we get to the 8th round, which is the Ravens, that gang from Rouen, versus Jin by himself, all on his lonesome. And we're like, oh my god, that's gonna be rough.
Not just Jin all by himself. Jin introduced in full with a...
Cool title alert.
Cool title alert. The Immovable.
Jin the Immovable. He's just a big old bear of a man that can't be moved.
With tree trunk legs. Hell yeah.
And he wrecks them.
Wipes the floor with these people. Oh my god, it's so good. He just wipes the floor with them.
Just... punch, 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 everyone fall down. Jin is victorious, and it was very exciting to see. We fought alongside him.
And it's very cute seeing Estelle cheering for him and Joshua, but especially Estelle for him and Karna, who she doesn't know either of them that well, but she's just so excited of the crowd cheering for them. She didn't even know Jin was competing, but she's so excited to cheer for him, and woohoo! It's so excited. It's so cute.
Estelle would be a wrestling fan for sure.
Oh my god, yeah.
We watched the very tail end of the performance, which I also appreciated that when you buy the ticket at the start, the ticket seller's like, you're going to get a quarter of the show. Are you sure you want to pay full price for the tickets? It's not very good value. I was like, all right, you agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, we watch all the fights and it's all very cool.
And we get a speech from the Duke. And he actually sounds decent.
He does.
Weirdly.
He's had a speechwriter for this one. They didn't let him go freeform.
Yeah. And... it's he does have one freeform bit, but it's now sounding good, where he announces a special prize that he's adding in, which is that the winner of this tournament is going to get an invite to the royal villa for a dinner banquet thing.
Sure.
So that's cool. But that's also a possible way to get access to the queen, even though he says out loud that she won't be there because she's sick. Mm-hmm. It is still in the place where she lives, I guess. And Estelle and Joshua note that if Karna's team wins, they could have Karna pass the message along. They're both kind of bummed at the idea that they can't finish the job, but, you beggars can't be choosers, Estelle says. But we go off to say congratulations to Karna and her team.
Mhm.
And while we're there, we are given an awesome suggestion to join Jin's team because he came from Calvard for the express purpose of joining this tournament. And at the last minute, the rules were changed and he couldn't put together a team. So that's why he's by himself. It's not because he's trying to like prove that he's better than everyone solo. And he wants a team.
Yeah.
And Estelle is manic with excitement.
She's so happy.
She's manic.
We're going to join his team, but we do have to find him.
We're going to ask him at least.
Yeah.
So we go to the guild to be like, let's ask where he is. And he says, well, he's either at the bar or at the Calvert embassy. So Josh was like, well, the bar is on the way to the embassy, kind of. So we'll go check the bar first.
I did check the embassy first because I somehow became blind to the world around me. And I ran in circles trying to figure out where the fuck this bar was. Somehow running past it multiple times. I figured
that they would tell you to turn back if you tried to leave the block.
No, I was just allowed to run circles around the city trying to find this bar. I went to that cafe several times. I don't know what it was. I think I must have been hugging the wall in the wrong way, so I wasn't seeing the other side of the street when I went north or whatever. Yeah, I went to the embassy first, and the guy just like, he's not here. I think he went out maybe to meditate or something. Or he said he was going to clear his mind. So I'm like, okay, that means he's going to the bar. And
yes.
And then I think I just had to pull up the map and stare at it and be like, oh, it's right there, you stupid idiot.
Hey, don't talk about my friend like that. You're just location challenged.
I have a tough time, and they know that, and they're doing this to me on purpose, and it's mean.
Yeah, it's very rude. It's hazing. But we go to the bar, and when you open the door, the whole thing stops. And for a second, I thought, like, my game had frozen.
Oh, really?
But then, like, for a second, because you can't move, it just opens. And then you hear piano music. And they're it's piano music. And you do hear real piano music. They don't just say it. And then Josh was like, it doesn't sound like a record. It sounds like someone's playing live. We know a pianist.
We do know a big pianist. And then I think it's Estelle who says, that melody sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah. And we walk in trepidatiously. Well, I'm eager. I think you're eager, but Estelle and Joshua are trepidatious. And it's the greatest thing. It's Olivier.
Olivier just tickling the ivories with his same tune.
He's a really good pianist.
He's really good.
He's really good.
He's able to do a lute run and a piano run of this song.
And this arrangement is like way more. It's really complex. Like there's clearly more. Yeah, it's really good.
But Estelle's not impressed. She's just like, oh joy, it's Olivier.
He's thrilled to see them.
He's so excited to see his raven-topped highness.
We also get filled in on what he's been up to. So we were like, well, didn't you go to Roland with Shara? And Olivia's like, oh, yes, and we had wonderful times, but then I had to tear myself away from Shara, who was inconsolable. And they go, okay, so Shara outdrank you. And Estelle puts it all together. She's like, so you tried your luck with Ina next, huh? But no one told you about Ina. Ina who can outdrink Shara. And basically he got run out of Roland because it was that or alcohol poisoning. Death by alcohol poisoning. So he escaped to Grancel.
He got run out of Roland and then read to filth by Estelle, knowing exactly how his life played out.
Yeah.
Who apparently at this point is able to engage her detective mode because she nailed that.
But we're like, well, Jin's clearly not here. Well, we ask Olivier if he's seen this guy, and he goes, no, I haven't seen him. So we leave. And just like the time where we first met Olivier, he tried to follow us to go and talk to General Morgan. Just like that, he also follows at the bar because he wants to come up to Jin. And he starts teasing Estelle, kind of about her crush on Joshua, clearly. And Estelle just whips out her big stick and smashes it into him and sends him flying all the way back into the restaurant.
Like, full, like, crash smash sound effect as well. It's fantastic. Joshua's just like, Estelle, don't kill people. Come on.
He's like, you can't just brain people in public. I didn't do any damage. Meanwhile, you can hear from a distance, you can hear them like, he won't wake up. And Olivia's like, I actually went back into the restaurant to see the scene.
Yeah, same.
Oh, God.
He's just kind of like splayed on the ground in, I think, another custom sprite, which I love.
It might be the same as the one he was in the bed when he was passed out drunk.
I think it might be,
it's perfect.
Yeah. But love the reuse. But yeah, he's fully gone. I screenshotted his lines here as well because I thought they were great. He's just going, red, orange, yellow, gold, periwinkle. Look at all the colors, such beauty. I will be with you always. I will be true to you always. Delightful.
I love him. I love him. Thank you for screenshotting that. I meant to pull those screenshots and they're lost now in my Steam.
The one other line I wanted to call out of his, when he is sort of owning up to being drunk under the table by Ina, is maybe just his best line of the game, which was just 2 words, hateful inebriation.
Yes.
It's so poetic.
So good.
Yeah, he wanted to tag along, but I guess he's a bit busy now with a concussion.
Yeah.
So we head off without him, unfortunately.
Yep.
Oh, but I did notice when you check on him on the inside, he's got all his lines, but the barmaid is just like, lol, again, it happened again.
Yeah.
Which, this is not a first time.
Yeah. Amazing.
And also, the bar owner, I believe, Bill, says that Olivier looks like he's been kicked by a gourd boar.
Yeah.
Which
we know
I was
guys.
like...
We love those guys.
That woman, Estelle, she's got powerful legs. And you know what? She does run around in circles like a gourd boar if you give her, like, an Esmolus gem.
She does.
The comparison is apt.
Exactly. It's so accurate.
Now I just want a trio of 3 tiny Estelles running in little circles.
Oh my god, please. We need that now, but alas, we don't have what we need. Instead, we have to go to the Erbe Scenic route to look for Jin. And should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break before we head out.
Your aid, please!
We go off to the Erbe Scenic route. We've already covered the fact that there's all these weird monuments, but there's also some monster chests next to all of them. Well, one of them doesn't have a monster, but you get some good stuff there, some good quartzes. And then when you go down to where the last one would be, because I've seen all the others, the further south one, sorry, you hear a woman scream. And we're like, oh no, we gotta go save her. And it's a nun. Seems that it's that nun that they kept mentioning is a new nun. Mm-hmm. The new nun just dropped. And some hornets are, some bees, some hillside bees are closing in on her.
New nun just dropped and she's about to be dropped by these bees.
Yeah, exactly. So we take out the 3 bees and then like 8 more appear. Lo and behold, Jin appears too. And we have some backup for this fight.
Jin the Immovable is here.
We all save the nun, and we're all very happy about it. But then somebody isn't happy about it. It's this fucking Black Mask guys again. The Special Ops guys. The Spops guys.
The Spops are here, and they are very rude.
They say that we're accused us of being terrorists, because we're suspicious for being here.
For walking on the road.
We're like, we're just saving this here nun. They eventually believe that we're who we say we are and that we're not here for suspicious reasons, but they insist that they're going to escort the nun themselves back, which is weird. Like, I don't know, I would have, if I were Estelle and Joshua and Jin, I'd be like, well, we'll come along too, rather than just, like, letting this poor young woman into the hands of these, like, sus-ass guys. I'm like, that sounds like something bad could happen. Like, no thanks.
Yeah, I also enjoy that while you're here, Jin just sort of asks you, how's the redhead who got poisoned?
Yeah.
Just like, didn't bother to learn his name. It's like, how's that ginger who almost died?
Yeah. But I carried him a long way. We got intimate that way.
Yeah, he better be.
And Jin's like, so what are you guys doing here anyway? And we tell him, and it takes us all the way. We're back at the bar by the time we come back to the scene, so clearly it took us the whole walk back to explain. And he's on for us to join. He's like, sure, sounds good.
Yeah, he's on board. He does mention that they need a 4th member to really like fill out the team. So they're sort of running through their options. They consider Shara, but she's busy back in Roland. I also enjoyed that they acknowledge at this point how short-staffed the Bracer Guild is in Roland.
She's doing everyone else's job in Roland.
Yeah, she's doing everyone's work. We've left. Dad's left. There's that one other guy who never does any work. Then they're like, man, well, if we can't get in Shara, isn't there anyone who could be? And then you hear ding dong 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 dong.
Yep. It's the strum of a lute.
It's Olivier Lenheim playing himself in.
Exactly. He's so good.
He really loves to make an entrance. They say, I'll help. And they just sort of challenge him. Were you just waiting up there to join the conversation? And he says,
yep.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Yes. He's no shame about it. Jin is pretty down for it. I love how he thumps himself into the chair. He just like plops himself into the extra chair at the table, not invited in. And he's just very eager to join up. And Jin can tell right away looking at him that he uses he's a sniper and an orbital arts man because of the way his eyes move. Swordsmen and martial artists have a different way of looking at, like, their eyes move differently. And Olivia's like, well, I guess I'll have to practice and watch myself going forward if you could spot me that easily.
Yeah. He's like, Olivia, you're a gunman because I see how your eyes track a particular point on a target. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, babes. He was just staring at your junk.
He's just checking you out.
Yeah. But after that, we sort of leave them to, I guess, get acquainted and drink themselves into friendship.
They're both clearly big drinkers. Jin's, like, victory pose when he wins in battle is just chugging a bottle.
Yeah, he just pulls out his gourd bottle and, like, yeah, every time.
And we know Olivia loves to drink, so these two are going to get along very well.
They've got it in the bag. For us, though, we are underage, so we're going to head home to the hotel.
Yeah. We're sharing a room, and Estelle's flustered by it, even though we've been sharing a room, like, throughout this whole game.
Every time.
Every place we go, we share a room, and yet now she's flustered about it. And Joshua's like, well, we are family, it's fine. And Estelle grumbles, and Joshua's like, look, okay, you've been acting kind of weird lately, and
I love this bit, yeah.
I know I'm not as dependable as Dad or as good of a listener as Shara, but I just want you to know that I'm here for you if you need to talk about something. It's so sweet and earnest, and it's Joshua is the one who struggles with emotional intelligence and with, like, communicating. He struggles to say this kind of thing right back at the very beginning of the game. Estelle said some really sincere, earnest stuff, and Joshua was like, can't believe you say something that embarrassing. And now he is doing that really awkwardly, and it's so sweet.
In the sweetest, most earnest, most self-deprecating way. He's just like, I'm worse than Dad, and I'm worse than Shara, but I care about you, and I'm here.
Estelle feels the same way. Estelle is very endeared by it. She takes a deep breath and puts aside all these conflicting feelings and tells him very honestly. She says, I know I've been acting weird, and it's not something serious or painful or anything. I'm just sorting through my feelings right now, and I will figure them out and tell you after, but right now I just need some time to figure out how I feel. Which is, like, super mature. Really, again, she's got the emotional intelligence, even though she's been flustered and awkward, like, when she's actually, like, not being caught off guard by her, by crush feelings, she does the emotional intelligence, because that's a really mature way to tell someone, like, that's a really mature way to communicate for anyone, but especially for a 16-year-old with impulse control issues.
And it's so sweet that, like, he's just stepping out of his comfort zone, obviously, to say, like, I'm here for you, I'm emotional support, and he acknowledges that I've been concerned because the rapport, the vibe between us has changed.
Yeah.
And I'm concerned that you're keeping something from me this time, and I want you to know you don't have to. Which is a great mirror to when she's been poking and prodding him every time she thought there was even a hint of a whisper of a possibility that he was keeping something from her. Like when she thought he had a crush on a girl, and she's like, I'm losing my mind. I thought we told each other everything. Yes. Let me support you. Shaking him by the lapels. Let me support you.
Yeah.
And it's just a spin around. It's like, oh, Joshua, so cute.
Yeah. It's so sweet.
It's very sweet. And yeah.
And she tells him not to worry.
Yeah, once I have everything straight, I'll be glad to tell you what's on my heart. Mind. My mind.
Joshua says that, okay, he won't worry, but as long as she promises to tell him when she sorted out what's bothering her. So it's very sweet. And then we go to bed.
It's bedtime in our separate beds to ruminate on our thoughts.
Yes. Or hopefully get a good night's sleep, because now we'll have to do a martial arts tournament.
Yeah, now we have to fight a bunch of people.
Hopefully our thoughts won't keep us awake too late.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we fought the military.
True. They keep calling it a battle royale, and it's definitely not a battle royale, but they keep calling it a battle royale. It's very funny. But yeah, the next day, we meet up with Jin in the hotel lobby, and Olivia comes in shortly after, right on the perfect cue, and Estelle goes, do you just deliberately time your entrances like this? Which, yeah, he does.
Absolutely,
and he's been pretty upfront about it.
He's all about the aesthetic.
They say that we have a bit of time before it starts, and I did run off to the Erbe Scenic route to do a little grinding just to get my CP filled up.
Oh, yeah.
Not for anything. I did run into trouble, though, because then I saw a Shining Palm, and I was like, ooh, Shining Palm. So I fought the Shining Palm, but I used everybody's S-Craft, so then I had to start over again with the CP grinding. But I killed all 3, which is great.
Hey, hell yeah.
But then I eventually grinded everyone's CP up to 200 and went to the arena. We are told our waiting room. We head over to the waiting room. And then the Ravens show up to talk to us. The Ravens bosses, the 3, like Rocco and the Bryan and the other one. Not the punks who got beat up by Jin yesterday. And they are trying to shit talk Estelle. They're mad.
First of all, she just like blanks them. Is like, who are you guys?
Yep.
They're like, we're the big tough gangsters. And she's like, I'm messing with you. Hey, how are you doing? And then, she's just extremely sincere and earnest in like genuinely being like, oh, I'm so happy you're here. I hope you do well in the tournament. If we go up against each other, let's make it a good fight. Good luck.
And they're just like, she ruined the vibe. They're like, she just ruined the vibe. This isn't fun anymore. Let's leave. Because they are the ones fighting. They're not, at first we think, oh, they're going to be in the same waiting room as us. That means they're not against us. But no, they just came to find us and trash talk us.
Yeah.
So we go to the waiting room and...
Yeah, there's 2 military parties and then the other braces. So we get to sort of check in with them. We know we're not going to be up against them, which is lovely. One of the lines that I did catch from one of the military folks, Private Mikria encourages you to shake what you got.
Yes.
Out on the battlefield. And I'm like, Private Mikria is going to be throwing ass on this battlefield, and I can't wait.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the only line I captured was Private Mikria, which was just, shake what you've got up there and don't lose an eye, because that would really hurt.
Good advice, good advice.
Checked in with everyone. They're all just kind of saying, good luck, don't fuck it up. The military teams are really, like, psyched up to fight together. Then it's time for the fights to start.
Oh, wait, I found one more. Somebody, Specialist Terrace, goes, is it our turn yet? I'm dying to do some killing. It's like, okay, I think you misunderstood what this Battle Royale shit is. I'm a little concerned. Specialist Gorg also says, don't you dare break my focus or I will kick you. Very sportsmanlike.
Maybe the team synergy's not quite there yet, yeah.
Not quite. They're off to fight to the death, but we're not. We go and fight some ravens and beat them up. We also learn about some other competitors. Being the Capua Sky Bandits are one of the teams competing.
Yes. Turns out we might know who those criminals in handcuffs being led into the city and led to the weapons shop as well. There was a comment from one of the NPCs saying that some people in handcuffs were brought into the weapon shop to like stock up, which was a wild experience. Yeah. Absolutely.
We're told by the announcer guy is like, they're doing this to try and, repent for their crimes.
An odd choice, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. This is probably why they changed the rules, because they wanted these guys in.
Yeah, it seems like possibly the entire tournament was changed just to allow this one scenario, which was just, I guess, a thing that Duke Doonan decided he wanted to do. He just changed the entire event, which is on brand for him.
Very much so.
I did also want to call out that when we're in the tournament, all of the fights, like the actual map that it's happening in, it's just a box. Like it's a shoebox. With audience on the side and stuff, but they do so much with like the camera work in it, like shifting it back and forth and in and out, that it makes it feel like a really dynamic space, even though it's primarily one angle of one area. I really enjoy seeing how much a game can do with limited ingredients if they really want to.
Yeah, for sure.
This is kind of indicative of Sky as a whole. Like it's
so good at that,
using a little to make a lot, which I enjoy. I will also say the fight against the Ravens I found really tough.
Yeah, it is.
Because I got stuck in a loop where one of them kept rezzing the rest.
Oh god, that's the worst.
Someone would go down, I think it's the green-haired one who can do the resurrections.
Right.
Every time someone would go down, he would like immediately have the next turn and bring them back up at full health. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I had to restart I had to just let him wipe the party because we were too far gone and just target that man and murder him exclusively.
This is where the having everyone at 200 CP really came in clutch with Joshua's best craft. And they all start lined up in a row, which was also convenient for me. I was able to use some line crafts, which was fun. But there's another party in this thing. There's the special ops guys led by Lawrence. And we get to see their fight against one of the military groups who were in our waiting room. And first, it's the 3 Spops guys against the guardsmen, and they're taking blows, trading blows. And then Lawrence, he was hanging back first, and he comes in. He one-shots every single person. Takes all his turns in a row once he decides to start going, and he just basic attacks. He's not using a craft. He just basic attacks, just one-shot everyone. It's jaw-dropping.
Absolute decimation. Yeah, they didn't stand a chance.
Joshua seems to recognize the fighting style, too.
Yeah, he does mention something about it being familiar.
And then he's like, the fighting style, it can't be. And then Estelle's like, what's going on? And Joshua is weird for a second. He's like, I don't know. And he goes, I was just noticing what a good swordsman this guy was. And we're like, okay.
But like his little sprite shakes a bit as well to kind of indicate that he's really having a freak out.
Yeah.
So Mr. Hey, be open and honest with me, sister. I love you is keeping secrets again.
Seems like it. That brings a wrap to the first day. And we get 20,000 Mira.
Yeah, damn. That's enough to buy one piece of armor at the store. Because prices are so high here.
I know, right? Again, shockingly real. We see Olivier and Jin off. They're going to go to the bar again. Mm-hmm. Olivier says, au revoir, my dear pussycats, and leaves. And then the Ravens come up to us. And they're basically like, well, you better win because you beat us. So here's the sewer key. The sewers are a good training place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool. And so you better win. We hate you. And Estelle's like, thanks for coming to let us know you're cheering for us. It means a lot. And they leave. Estelle's like, well, it was weird, whatever. And Joshua has the best line ever. He goes, after all, you are the most violent person I have ever met, to Estelle. Which is so good. Yeah. And it's so true. She's so violent. She brained Olivier into a restaurant earlier. Like, she's so violent. It's so great. I just love that line.
It's a perfect one-hit KO kind of insult.
And he doesn't even mean it as an insult. That's like the worst part.
Your quiet, younger, brother is just like, you're a violent psychopath.
Yeah. He also calls him manly, so she's really offended by all of this. Yeah.
She doesn't love that.
We go back to the hotel, though, and who's waiting for us but Niall?
I actually made a stop at the bar as well on the way, just to check in on...
Yes, tell me.
Our two favourite boys, Jin and Olivier.
Yes.
They are absolutely sloshed at the table in the bar.
Figures.
You walk up and talk to Jin and he says, will you guys like a drink too? Was that? Oh. You guys don't want a drink? Drink. I say drink instead of dring.
I love him.
And so he's fully gone. And then you go over and talk to Olivier. I didn't screenshot his line, but he's like, ho ho ho, we're having a lovely time. Clearly has a higher tolerance than Jin, despite being 1/8 his size.
And despite the fact that Jin is drinking every single time he wins a battle. I guess he's trying to raise his tolerance.
His tolerance, yeah. But yeah, they don't have much to say beyond that. I just thought I'd check in and see how they're going, and it seems like...
I appreciate that.
There's only one bottle on the table, and they've both got full glasses, but already Jin is gone. But yeah, then it's off to the hotel, where we run into our good buddy Niall, who we didn't actually want to spend time with.
Nope, and Niall wants to interview us. He's supposed to interview the competitors of the tournament. But he wants us to come with him. He doesn't want to interview us here. So he takes us to LeBlanc, which is... not called LeBlanc, but I'm calling it LeBlanc from now on. And we get a really funny thing where it smells great. It smells like curry. And Estelle's like, I'm sorry, we've had a really long day fighting. So if you want to interview us, you have to buy us dinner. And we get him to buy us dinner. It's great. He's like, oh my god, this is unfair. You guys drive a hard bargain. He complains, but he does buy us dinner. It was delicious, apparently.
You can expense it, man. Come on now.
But then we're chatting. We kind of get the idea that they're not really able to report on... Niall's not able to find out what's going on. He's stressed about it. He figures out that we know something. We decide to just tell him everything, but that's saying it's off the record. And we're like, you brace yourself. And he hadn't braced himself enough, because he's floored.
Yeah, we break that man's brain.
He's like, shit. He goes, I can't report any of this, goddammit. But we find out the army has been clamping down on the news and what the liberal news is publishing, so they can't really write anything real.
Yeah.
Which makes sense as to why there was no work going on, because they're not being allowed to report on anything.
Mm-hmm.
But Niall decides that he can't write anything, but he can help us out by digging up intel. He can't publish the intel, but he can dig it up still. He has sources and places that the guild wouldn't. And so he decides he's going to help us, which is very nice. Niall has really had a redemption over the course of this game. He started off as this, drunk asshole, but he's really come around. He's really grown on me over the course of the game. Or grown in his impression. Yeah. Hey, we gotta call, what's his name? Orville the Mushroom Man.
We break his brain and then kind of leave him to unpack that information while we go to bed.
And we're like, by the way, there's a coup happening. The military is taking over the country.
Oh, yeah.
Bye. Like us at the end of an episode. Bye!
Thank you for the curry.
The next day, I pick up an extermination quest in the sewers, and I have a sewer key to train, so all together, great time to go to the sewers.
Yeah, this was actually when I stopped in and sort of cashed in all of my reporting at the guild, and I hit first class at this point.
Did you talk to Elnan? Get dialogue with him?
I believe so, but I haven't screenshotted it. You may need to remind me.
I did, and Estelle goes, we're supposed to meet Chloe around now, and asks Elnan if Chloe has contacted them at the guild. And as we remember from the beginning of chapter 3, I guess, when we had talked about meeting up with Chloe again, we'd said, contact the Grancel guild, and that'll be the best way to get in touch with us. So we found out that no, she has not contacted the guild. Josh was like, she did say she had, was going to be staying with a rich family, but that's not really anything to narrow down. And Elnan's like, I'm sure she just got held up with family stuff, and she's going to reach out. But Chloe has not called in, which is sad, because Estelle misses her girlfriend.
It's sad to be apart.
And then I got to the sewers. I did buy new gear before going to the sewers. It's expensive. I had to do some of the apple ice cream magic trick.
Oh, yeah.
But I got some new gear. And then we go to the sewers. My comment here is, remember in the prologue when Shara told us the Roland sewers were straightforward? Lol. That's just my whole note about the sewers.
My entire notes for this section is, it's sewer time, maze. Hate it. Killed the monster. That's it. Because this section, oh my god, I walked in and I started running around. I was like, oh, it's a sewer. It'll be easy to navigate like the other one. Nope. There were immediately too many turns, too many options. Then I was like, okay, it's time for the maps. I pulled up a map and then I said, well, shit, where the fuck on this map am I? And it took me more time to find my position on the map than it did to tour through the section of the sewers that you can explore at this point.
Multiple people have done different maps. It might be useful to, like... The other problem with maps is that it's clear that there are other sections of the sewers and they're in the map. Like, any maps you find seem to have all of the sewers, but we don't have access to all of it, so it's very confusing. Because it also kind of spoiled... Like, looking at the map can kind of give away some other areas where, like, other things a little bit. I don't want to say more than that.
It's a big area. We can only access a portion of it. You do get the tease of, like, you know, chests out of reach and stuff to kind of tell you there is more to this. It's not just set dressing. But it's a very limited section you can go through at the moment. It's mostly Teoh bombs, just like powerful-ish healing items, which are handy to have going into the tournament.
Yep.
But yeah, I found the quest monster. It was just a pack of 5-somethings. I can't remember what they were.
Mole rat things.
At that point, I'd just been running back and forth in the sewers so long that I had 200 CP, so I just like nuked them from orbit and moved on with my life.
I did the same. Exactly. Once you found your way out, you moved out with your life.
Once I found, oh man, I would love an escape rope in these games sometimes, just like a quick exit.
Right.
But yeah, after that, I headed back to town because it's time to get ready for the semi-finals of the martial arts tournament.
Yeah, I did a little running around first. I went to church again.
Oh.
And Archbishop Courant told me, I firmly believe in the mutual separation of church and state, which has to go off Queen. And then he says, that said, I also believe that singular instances of ... tacit cooperation ... can help bring about a favorable outcome for all. Sorry, I missed the line between them, which is when he says that after the 100 Years' War, the Bracers and the church were the two that really helped the civilians get back on their feet. Mm-hmm. He then, after that, if you talk to him again, says that the Septian Church has formed a really close, nice relationship with the royal family over the years. So I take that tacit cooperation line as him saying, basically, he's not he knows something's sus with the royal army. He's not cool with it. He would be down to cooperate with us if needed. That's how I take it. At first I was like, what, is he trying to make excuses for the church overreaching? I'm like, oh no, he's offering like a... You know, at least saying he would look the other way if we were doing some royalist, non-army militarist activities and needed him to say he would, you know, I get the impression he would tell the guards that no, he hadn't seen us two bracers if they came looking for us and we were not wanting to be found. That's kind of what I think he was getting at. But it was cool. He's like, I believe in separation of church and state, but also fuck Alan Richard.
Love it, love it, love it.
And then I went to the arena.
Everyone in town is ready for the martial arts tournament to start anyway, so I guess they're all mostly over there. Headed over to the arena again. On the way in, ran into Dorothy, our favorite strange girl with glasses.
She found her way off the loop after a day or two.
She did. Congratulations, Dorothy. Because we never ran into her, so hopefully she wasn't in too much danger.
Yeah. We also get some of the best lines out of her, as always, because she recognizes both Olivier and Jin, and she goes... Drink and Run Guy and the Bear in Eastern Clothing. Those are their names. Drink and Run Guy and the Bear in Eastern Clothing.
Drink and Run Guy. That should be a cool title alert for Olivier right there.
It really should. But she tells us she has a message from Niall that he wants to meet us at the Liberal News after the tournament. And she's not allowed to do the job she was supposed to do, so she's here to take pictures of the tournament instead.
And I think it's at this point that Olivier starts getting bored with the conversation and behaving like a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That man, he's just like, I'm not interested in this anymore. Meow.
Yeah.
What?
So, well, he is interested, but we won't tell him details on, like, what's going on with Niall, so he's bored because he can't get the deets. Because, like, she mentions Zeiss, she mentions whatever. He's like, tell us more, that sounds interesting, and we won't, and he's not happy. So we go to the waiting room. We're sharing with the Capuas this time. Apparently, the better they do in this tournament, the lighter their sentence will be, which does not seem like a judicial system that I want.
It's a bit Suicide Squad for me, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. That's not right. There's a lot of things that are not right about the judicial system in Liberal. There's no perfect judicial system, but fight for your freedom is not cool. That's not very democratic.
Yeah.
And equal and fair. That's not. So that's why they're fighting, but there's a second reason too. They want to fight the Spec Ops guys because they were played like fools by them. They're mad, they want revenge. And Kyle makes it pretty clear when I talked to him, he was like, yeah, I'm not going to be best buddies with you, but I don't think we need to hate each other when we were both pitted against each other by the Spops guys. Which is cool. Yeah. Josette still hates Estelle. She's mad. And Joshua gives some advice on dealing with Second Lieutenant Lawrence. Basically, it's like, he's the one you really have to worry about. You got to pin him down. You should be able to handle the others. And Josette is kind of yells because she's mad that he's being helpful and offering advice or flustered or something. But we are going to fight the other bracers. And they're a tough fight.
They're a decent fight. I found it easier than the Ravens for me.
Opposite for me. It is fun that, like, it wasn't horrible, but it was tricky. It's fun that you've gotten to see them fight, and, like, if you're paying attention, you learn more about their techniques. Like, I was like, I gotta take out Kurt first, because he's got all the support spells that are gonna fuck me up. And Karna's in the back doing spells and shooting with a big gun, and Annalise just has this one attack where she, like, slashes 8 bazillion times.
Yes, that one was such a pain. Managed to take them down pretty quickly because I think, yeah, you're right. Having seen the process and knowing how badly I got caught out on the Ravens with Mr. Rez up, I was just like, all right, you're going down, Mr. Support.
Annalise rezzed Karna, and that was annoying because I didn't think Annalise would be able to res. I figured if I got the arts users down, it'd be fine, but Annalise rezzed her, which was, I didn't know she could do that.
It was actually the other way around for me. Annalise got rezzed like 3 times during the fight. And it's only with 500 health, but that's just a little bit over what I can do with like a single strike. So it was just like, oh god, she's up again. Everyone smack her twice. But they go down eventually. And then it's time for the second round, which is the Capuas versus the Spops.
And as they line up to fight, Lawrence just casually drops the whole backstory at them. He's like, yes, the Capuas, you were a noble family in the Empire, and then you lost your land and money and are now in disgrace. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, not only do you know that, but you're just casually dropping that?
It's like, we get it. You work for the intelligence division.
Like, yes, obviously, but it's just, it's very much, it's like, his version of trash talk is like, I know everything about you, and I'm gonna unnerve you by telling you. Which also, he clearly doesn't need the trash talk, or to intimidate them, because he just decimates them. He massacres them. No problem. No effort. He wasn't even trying. Joshua even notes that he was, like, not even really trying.
Yeah, he says, like, his last attack wasn't even that focused. It was just kind of a swipe.
It was kind of sloppy, yeah.
Yeah, the combat's over. This round of the tournament's over. We've made it through, and the Spops have made it through. And now it's time to go to the Liberal News.
Yes, the Liberal News. And I noticed as I got there, there was a soldier hanging out outside the office. I went to talk to him, and he said, he basically was like, what is your business? And then he said that we've been ordered to keep a close eye on the staff here at the Liberal News. So that's alarming.
Yeah,
Free press under attack. Yet again, another case of this chapter being way relevant and timely for us to play.
Also, a lot of people being very upfront with their motives, which is a little less real. It's saying the quiet part out loud, but it does help to get the message across a lot quicker.
To be fair, people are saying the quiet part out loud a lot right now. Way more than you'd think. Like, people are saying things, just saying,
People just saying things.
Yeah.
But the good news is that Niall has some info for us on the Intel division, because specifically we asked him to look into Alan and Amalthea and Second Lieutenant Lawrence.
Interestingly, Joshua asked about Lawrence. He's like, ask L9 if he knows anything about Lawrence, and then asked Niall, and then it's like, and also the other 2, like, we should know our 3 enemies, but he's very focused on finding out about this Second Lieutenant Lawrence. So we got the army profiles. They're not, like, classified info about them, but they are not available to the general public, which I guess means they're partly classified. So,
It's not that interesting for 2 of them. We kind of get the hits on Alan, which is that he came up through the military.
He's born in 1168. It is now 1202. Are you good at math? I went to math it, and then I forgot.
He's 32. 38?
He's in his early 30s. I don't know. He graduated from a military academy in Liberl. Where's our military academy in Liberl? I'm sorry, I thought there was only one high school. Where is this thing? But he served under Cassius, and then was, after Cassius retired, he went to the military operations office, and he formed the intelligence division about a year ago. Yeah. Amalthea's first name is Canone.
Canone, yeah.
Canone, it's canonical. Born 1175. Also went to military academy, then to the military operations office, and Richard recruited her for the intelligence division.
Yeah, and she's pretty much been working for him as an aide-de-camp for a long time.
Yes, and then finally, Lawrence Belgar. We finally got a last name for him. We didn't even know if Lawrence was first or last name, technically. True, We just get age and nationality unknown. He was a member of Jester, who was invited by Richard to the ID. Previous activities unknown. Now, bit of background for the folks who are new. We get this in the game as well here. Jester is a Jaeger group. Jaegers are mercenary groups. The word mercenary exists, but like good professional militia type groups are called Jaegers. They're kind of the opposite of bracers in that they're very much involved in political conflicts, and in fact are often hired to fight proxy wars for small countries fighting. And they're sometimes have been hired by countries for other things, but usually they're not. Usually it's smaller countries. It's not like above board to be hiring Jaegers, but they get lots of work anyway. So he's a mercenary, or former mercenary who now works in the intelligence division, which I would imagine has to be a security concern. Like, I feel like Joshua Estelle, I guess he wanted a good fighter, but it's just weird.
Yeah, to directly hire the person that you usually keep at arm's length to keep yourself away from, like, the implications of the war you're actually fighting.
Yeah, and I don't think Liberl's supposed to be peace-loving. They don't even hire Jaegers in general. And, Jaegers, the whole deal with them as mercenaries is they follow the money. They don't have loyalties to, a cause or, you'll follow the money. So I think hiring somebody who is supposedly just in it for the money to work for the intelligence division, that doesn't feel like a great national security plan. But what do I know? Other fun details are that Julia and Amalthea were classmates at the military academy. They were apparently, sounds like they were rivals. Julia was physically stronger and Amalthea was brainier. And apparently someone's been trying to arrange a marriage for Princess Claudia. And that someone is Richard. Someone has been looking in other countries for a fiancé for her. And I do like that everybody points out she's 16. That is way too young. This is creepy. Because sometimes in, JRPGs, and actually not just JRPGs, sorry, any medieval fantasy or historical fantasy-ish type setting, people will be like, yeah, 16-year-olds getting married, totally normal. It wasn't as normal in the past as it seems, and also even if it was, that doesn't really matter. But no, people didn't get married at 16, as even in the real world. That didn't happen as much as people think it did. This is me going on my little high horse because I get mad about this. Even way back then, people knew that, even at the most sexist times in history, people knew that if you weren't fully grown, childbirth was dangerous. And so they tried to avoid women going into childbirth until they had fully physically matured. So there were 12-year-olds who got married occasionally. They almost died in childbirth, or did die in childbirth, and it was pretty rare. And it was only, nobles for, arranged marriages for really important things. It wasn't, a constant thing in, medieval Europe or whatever. So that's a misapprehension. You see it in a lot of medieval fantasy. It's not accurate. Anyway, off my little spiel now. Everyone is like, that is way too early for marriage. Marrying off a 16-year-old is weird. It's one thing for her to have her, yes, it's the traditional age for, a young woman's debut into high society, but that's long before marriage. That just means she has, a quinceañera or a debutante or whatever. Quinceañera would be 15, but you know what I mean. That just means that she's not a little kid. She's a teenager, but she's not, she's too young. I appreciate that everyone is very straight up, 16's too young.
Yeah, and also, why is Alan Richard out here hunting for a husband for her?
It's super weird.
The intelligence division is part of the military, which serves the royal family, and Duke Dunan is the heir, and why is he trying to undermine that by getting a marriage for the blood relative of the queen?
Yeah. Or is he trying to get her out of the way so she doesn't challenge the claim to the throne? Is he trying to, have her move to another country with I don't know. It's weird. It's weird as shit.
As it is, she's orphaned and lives in a tower by herself, according to
pretty much,
Niall. So who knows what that's about. But we've got all this information, so we've got to run it to the guild to update them.
And Elnon connects this marriage info to some intel that he had, which is that apparently a member of the Erebonian royal family is supposed to come to Grancel for the B-Day celebration. So he goes, I wonder if that's connected. I wonder if that's related. I don't know. But...
Oh. More royalty in the mix.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Now, one thing I noticed, because it's nighttime as we walk, and it really hit me here, every single time seems to pass in Grancel, there are more soldiers walking the streets. Like, It's small change each time, but it's noticeable that there are there's just more and more soldiers patrolling the streets every time that any time seems to pass. It's very unnerving. Yeah. It's not commented on. Like, Joshua and Estelle don't go stop and go, wow, there's more soldiers than last time. It's really good, like, environmental storytelling, I think, of this coup that's happening.
Not to mention, it's as soon as you walk out the door of the guild after giving your update, you're stopped for a random check by the guards who are just like, why are you out? You shouldn't be out past 9 p.m. because there's a curfew. Yeah. If you can help it. And it's like, Estelle, again, goes to Archive. She's like, well, what if we can't help it? We need to be out. That's stupid.
Yeah.
It's just like, this city is getting locked down more and more and more. In the midst of, like, a grand celebration where there's more and more people in the city. So it becomes more and more obvious.
Yeah, and they escort us to the hotel.
Yeah, we get escorted back and head up to our room where Joshua freaks out.
It's another case of them being very friendly, but also enforcing. There's a lot of this throughout the chapter. I'm finding that a lot of, like, the rank and file of the soldiers are seeming friendly and, like, personable when they chat. Not always, but a lot of that, but are still following orders that are clearly fucked up. And they don't know why, but they're not questioning them. It's just it's an interesting. It's deliberate, clearly, and it's interesting, and it's continuously happening. And it brings up questions of, interesting questions of the complicity of people who seem like normal, regular people, but who are also complicit and enabling and following orders. And I think it's very deliberate that they seem perfectly nice, but they are also literally allowing a coup and this dictatorship. Like, they're really...
It's clear that the ethics and the boundaries of the military are eroding. Because you've got them being pushed to do more and more fucked up things in the name of their orders. You have the spops who are willing to, like, shoot a child until one of them pulled them and is like, yo, we don't kill children. We have, assumably, the Fantasy Geneva Convention. But, like, all of that's just falling by the wayside as someone is pushing for something to happen at all cost.
Yeah, it's really something. Get back to the hotel, and we go up to our room, and Joshua notices there's someone, he can hear, I think we can both hear, but there's someone in the room, there's a trespasser in the room. Be careful, there might be traps, there might be bombs. It sounds like, what the fuck? That escalated so quickly.
Yeah, he goes straight to bombs.
And Joshua's like, you can wait outside while I check if you, and Stella's like, no, I'll come with you, it's fine. I'm just a little, shocked that you said there might be bombs. Okay, no, so they're going together, and Joshua's being like, no bombs, no this, no that, and it sounds like, how can you tell immediately? Like, this is like when he goes into CSI mode, but like times 10. He's really intense here. There's a letter left on our floor, that's all there is, and the window is open, and it tells us to go to the cathedral at the stroke of 10, and it says like, well, should we go? And Joshua's like, no way, he yells. He's like, losing his cool. He's clearly like, on the edge, like, all this stress, not just this, but he's been stressed about this Lawrence guy, I have everything going on, like, he's holding on by a thread, it seems, and he's, like, snapping, and he's like, sorry, Estelle, you shouldn't go, I can go, I'm good at, like, I can sneak and no one will see me, but you shouldn't go. And Estelle, again, with intelligence, it's like, I know you're worried about me, and that's why you're acting weird, but we're a team, and we're both going together.
I'm just as much of a bracer as you are.
Yeah.
So let's do this.
Joshua is like, okay. But he says, you gotta promise that if something happens, you'll follow my instructions. So says, okay. Sure. And we save.
We save because that is our stopping point for this episode. And I sure did want to keep going when I got to this point.
Oh my god, right?
Because I was like, any dungeon or experience will be better than the sewers. Like, can't wait. But also, like, the story's ramping up and we're about to start getting the answers, capital A answers. And I'm excited to learn it because I've gone this long not spoiling myself on the outcome of this game or the two that come after it. So I'm really, really excited.
Yes.
Woo!
I am very excited to explore it again with you and to see you see it.
Can't wait. And on that note, Lex, what hard to sort of explain without spoiling anything stopping point will we be using for part 2 of our 3-part coverage of the final chapter?
Okay, bear with me, guys. I'm gonna stop you right there, Lex. Lex from the past was about to tell you to play a way larger chunk of game than you should.
Oh boy, yes.
So we're not gonna do that. We are older and wiser.
Yes, hello and welcome to Trails Through Trails, the podcast within a podcast where we travel back in time from the future and correct ourselves from being overly ambitious. Hi, I'm Future Matt.
I'm Future Lex. Those people didn't know what they were doing. They were sweet summer children. They had no idea. So what we're actually going to put as the cutoff point is a point where your party is going to split in two, and one of the split off groups of that party enters the city again. Obviously, there's like a line of dialogue or two before you can save, so you can go until you can save. But it's after the party splits up when you can save again.
Believe you me, that is a far more reasonable checkpoint to set than what these dummies were about to say. So don't worry about it. They can just kind of skip ahead, and we'll get back into the fun.
Let's do it. And I hope we'll all be glad that I chose these stopping points.
I think we will be. Because for any newcomers to Trails, the one thing you've got to know about Trails is that the ending is always so long.
Longer than you think.
Longer than you think.
There's a lot of denouement.
If you're like me and historically always reach the quote-unquote end of the game at about midnight on a weeknight, you'll be like, hey, I can just push through and watch the cutscenes. It won't take that long. I won't get to bed that late. And then it'll be 3 a.m. because this game does not fuck around. So that's why we need to break the final chapter up into 3 pieces so we don't lose our minds. And also, I don't run out of storage space on my old laptop to store the audio for these long episodes.
Your laptop is like such a champion, just trying so hard.
Holding on.
Trying so hard.
If anyone wants to, like, anonymously donate me enough money to buy a new MacBook that's not full of coffee, I would love it. Because don't pour a coffee into your laptop. It'll smell delicious when it's working, but it's bad for it. And that's the moral of this episode. But I think, as far as this episode's concerned, that'll pretty much do it for us, don't you reckon?
I think so. So thanks for listening once again to the FCFC, to the first part of the final chapter of the first chapter of Trails in the Sky. As always, you can find us on the Orbital Net at trailspod.online, on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Instagram at trailspod. And you can send us an email at trailsthroughtrails@gmail.com if you want to yell at us about how terrible the checkpoints I've picked are, or gloat about how wrong something I said was, or just tell us that we're great. That would be nice too. In the next episode, we're going to play up to the point where your party splits in two and you can save again. As always, I've been Lex.
And I've been Matt.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye! Send us questions for the end of the game if you have anything you want to know about final first chapter.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, send us questions. If there's spoilers in the questions, put that in the subject line. I will watch the inbox and note them down so that Matt doesn't see any of them before he gets there.
Yes, leave my mind unblemished.
Thank you very much. And now, finally, for real, bye!
Bye!